emotion that we have will release immediately, or every thought that we have will release. If it's even a slightly stressful thought, or if we're in a situation that we might be feeling calm, but there's somehow our subconscious is triggered, and immediately there are stress hormones or the happy hormones released into our body, and every single cell will respond to every hormone released in the body, and so it will either shut down or it will open up. And
That's right.
And there's either the healing, reproductive actions going on, or there's the bunker down and protect of the actual cells themselves, which is all instigated by our thoughts and our feelings. And
that's exactly right.
And so in the German New Medicine, they talk about when you've had, or often a cancer or any illness is often linked to a trauma, specific trauma, and you can actually see it mapped in the brain that when there's been a trauma and that's affected an area of our brain, that emotional trauma, it specifically connects to that area in the body.
Profound shifts happen when we get in touch with the very fundamental, programming at the very beginning of our biological existence, and we're able to transform it.
Yes, amazing. So we have the sperm and the egg come together to create the first cell.
Yes.
It divides and divides and divides until we have a physical body. So every cell in our body has the male and female aspect.
That's right.
And that's where we're going to. And that's at the deepest level of our creation, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. That's right. And many of the first cells, we can, just in the same way as we can communicate with an organ, we can communicate with the first cell from which we came. And that's another whole aspect of this work.
Yes,
so that's very deep.
And the joy that people feel, this feelings of hopelessness or fear of connecting with the masculine or the feminine side, or fear of connecting in general with anything else, it can suddenly transform into the most incredible love that people feel. They suddenly feel connected and open, and the fears that just disappear.
That's exactly right. It's all about bringing all of the parts of ourselves back to wholeness and back to loving harmony.
Yes.
Because where there is conflict, there is degeneration. Where there's love and harmony in the body, that's when we regenerate, and that's when we heal.
Yes, yeah. Deep down with many conditions, as I've mentioned about the German New Medicine, there's often the underlying conditions, and so you even have processes for infections, viruses, bacteria.
Yes.
Which I personally found quite amazing about giving the Lyme bacteria a voice. And the actual bacteria themselves, it can seem a bit confusing, but as soon as you said then the Lyme group consciousness, when we're taking it up a level, a higher level, it suddenly it makes more sense.
Yes.
When we're thinking that, okay, our whole world is, and Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about, ourselves, we're not actually physical beings, we're a spiritual being.
Yes.
And so as soon as we look at everything on that slightly higher level of spirituality and as the group consciousness, it's not just this, how can we talk to this little bacteria? We're actually talking to that conscious energy.
Yes. Yes, so we talk to the conscious energy of the bacteria in your body, the group consciousness in your body, and so and then what we did was we transformed the frequency or the vibration we transformed that group consciousness back to what we call the perfect blueprint. So once we did that, we actually could bring that energy back into the body. We weren't trying to get rid of it. We simply gave it a new job, you could say, or a new role to uplift and to, provide life support to the body.
I actually felt my back, where I've had what seemed to be an SCC and which spread, and the areas that showed up in the thermal imaging. When we did the process and actually collapsing the damaged or the DNA that was not in line with the Creator's perfect blueprint, I could just feel in my back, and we'd done the trauma release by then. So we'd done a very, very big trauma release right from, a very early trauma in my life. But my back just felt like all this collapsing of something that didn't need to be there. And then I realised that the power in this process, that I was actually feeling it happening in my body without me doing it. My partner was doing the process.
Through her envisioning and through her intent. Yeah, and you were actually feeling what she was doing in your physicality.
Yes.
We're able to collapse lists of traumas. Some people having many, many traumas on their lists.
To understand it, it's not going through and talking about the problem and
That's right.
trying to work out a way to manage the problem in your mind,
Yes.
or to manage the feelings that you have in your body. It's actually, it really is like a quantum physics change.
It is.
That happens.
That's right. And the good thing is that with this process, the facilitator doesn't even have to know what's on the list of the other person. The facilitator doesn't have to be told, and that's really great for people who just don't want to share their stuff. They don't want to rehash and relive it as they talk about it. We understand that some situations are extremely painful for people, what they're going through, sicknesses and possibly abuse at the hands of another person. But at the same time, we've actually got to look inside and have a look at what part of ourselves, our energy, is drawing such situations to us. It's easy to blame and to hold resentment and to project that pain outwards. That's what we call the fight response. But what we're doing in genome healing is that we're looking within and we're actually seeing where the conflict is within us and how that is now playing out and being reflected back to us. It's like a mirror image. So, as I said before, when we go inside of our organs and we see that even our own, within each one of our organs, there is a conflict of, everything is played out in the world outside of us and reflected back. So the world is actually teaching us what it is that needs to be healed on the inside.
It seems a bit, you think, well, that's not going on within me, how can that be happening out there? But when we went in and listened to the male and the female of our organs and other parts of our body, what was amazing was the energy or the emotions, the connections, the patterns that have come down through generations that are within us.
Yes.
That's the key that really sparked my interest and my intrigue, and I could see perfectly how that can be happening. Before we've actually done this work, I can see it and I've experienced it, but I haven't quite understood how that could be happening.
Yes.
But to actually see that these emotions or feelings or patterns have actually come down in our cells, in our DNA, so it's not that we're being evil or we're doing something to make this happen. It's actually just an energy that's occurring that we've possibly come into this world with.
Yes, that's right. And we don't just work, on the hurts that we have actually experienced in this life. We can even heal the hurts for the ancestors, and it lifts the whole, load from us and also for our future generations, because Science now knows that these things are passed down.
Just have to breathe in. I know I